Welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, where world-changing spiritual entrepreneurs come to deeply awaken the power within to bring forth their greatest purpose, to create massive awakened impact for millions of souls around the planet, while enjoying being in tune with all life and real wealth in all aspects of their lives. I'm your host, Daniel John Hanneman. Welcome, everybody. I'm so glad to be here with you. I am welcoming you to this amazing opportunity for us all to connect through the Spiritual Rockstar podcast show. And I wanted to spend some time as we were kicking everything off here to explain and to share around what the heck is a spiritual rock star anyway. I think a lot of people love the term. I did have a radio show online for several years, I think from 2009 to around 2016 or so, and had just, I want to say probably hundreds of guests. I had lots of guests on over the years, hundreds. And we were hosted on Blog Talk Radio. Some of those episodes may still be accessible and are up the last time I checked, but they're talking about changing things. So you may go into the archives if you want to see the history of the show, go back and take a look at those. Anyhow, so the Spiritual Rockstar podcast show came about because I stopped doing the interviews that I was doing Blog Talk because I go by my guidance. My guidance just was giving me, okay, it's time to put this to a close for now. Recently, with the popularity of podcasts themselves, I was reinvigorated to put new energy and to bring even more amazing energy into the whole creation of the whole spiritual rock star theme, because when I get into it, I'll tell you why it's so important to me, but it seemed to be the right time to do this, and that we are needing more and more leaders to be spiritual rock stars so that we can successfully navigate, I would say at least, for these next, we're here in the 2020s now, basically. Going into these next 10 years, especially. And so it's especially important as myself, as someone who channels and tunes into wisdom and guidance from a higher energy, higher perspectives, and can sense the patterning and the energies of what's unfolding. I do get some prophetic messages at times that come to me. And part of it has been that those of us that are meant to be leading the way as what I call, if I were to call it spiritual rock stars, say world-changing spiritual entrepreneurs, those of us are meant to lead the way, there is an urgency for us to get on it and to get on with our most amazing purposes and the deepest, most amazing changes we're meant to bring forth into the world. So Spiritual Rockstar, first I'm going to talk about what that is. I'll talk about myself a little bit before I get into that, and I'll talk a little bit more about what is a Spiritual Rockstar. And then I also want to talk to you about the show and the purpose and the mission behind the show. I'll keep talking about that, okay? So it will be a brief show. This won't go on for forever here. This will help you get oriented to know what's coming ahead with the intentions and what we're looking to create through this show, which has a chance to change countless lives. And that's the beauty, is that at any time you can be listening to one of these podcast shows and sinking into the energy of it and into the wisdom will be shared by myself, but also big time, especially from our guests that come on to the show. So a little bit about me, if you don't know anything about me, is my background is in a lot of things, but it comes from therapy, doing therapy, being a therapist. And I started having these experiences of awakening, and I got online around 2006 and was called to help people to do what I'm doing now, basically, is to wake up to their soul's calling and to serve the biggest thing they're here to serve and live all the life they want. Still the same thing, all the same thing. Along the way, I created a structure called Academy for Invincible Healers, because I learned how to use my intuitive gifts as an intuitive energy healer. And I struggled financially to even do my purpose for a while. And then I broke free using energy scans and energy scan healing and letting my coaching come from that place too. And I started to train people through this structure called Academy for Invincible Healers for a number of years. And I certified well over 100 people, I would say, and trained hundreds more on how to do energy scanning and energy scan healing to make a big difference and impact into the world. And I know that ripple effect is at least thousands and thousands and thousands of people. So some of my students themselves are reaching and impacting thousands and thousands of people, probably, I mean, certainly every year. So we've had a big ripple effect from that. And the whole thing was geared and oriented towards deepening our own awakening, deepening other people's awakening, of course, the healing, and manifesting what it is that people want, of course. So what are what's wanting to happen through you? So through that structure, I was able to leverage the impact through the tools I had gained on my own. I downloaded the system of intuitively energy scanning and energy scan healing and all that stuff. And I transmitted that and the foundational teachings, metaphysics, and more, not just metaphysics, but a number of spiritual deep teachings to my students. And then that chapter closed. And then it was time to move into something I've been called to for a long time, which was to help those that want to impact the consciousness and the world the most, that are not quite doing it fully yet or need support in taking it to its next level, to support them in doing that. So our intention is, no matter what level you're at, that if you have a big purpose and you are a spiritual world-changing spiritual entrepreneur, that this show is going to help empower you in so many different ways to help you to do that. A lot of the guests I'll have on are going to talk about all kinds of different subjects as it pertains to you as a spiritual rock star. We might be talking about upgrading your health. We have different people on that are going to talk about that. Julie Renee. We've got James Twyman as a guest, coming up. He's helping you to realize simplifying your being and deeper, talking about St. Francis and as an example of someone in their own way as a spiritual rock star, right? So we have these different guests coming up, and the episodes that are being released by now by brilliant, incredible way showers to point into your purpose and into your power. And it could be around relationships, could be around your health, your finances, your purpose, could be anything, to all these things, because everything is connected and everything is about bringing the deepest awakening to you, so that your transmission and your energy coming forth to bring big impact into the world is coming deeper from an awakened whole place. And that the greater energy and the deeper downloads and the greatest things can unfold through the impact that you're here to bring, and to make that difference and experience all the life that you want within all that. So to have what I call real wealth, which may include things like money, but go supersede that in that you're just living the life that you want, and includes everything that you're wanting along the way as your experience unfolds. So with all that being said, those are the things I'm supporting these days. So I work with clients a lot as the airing of this particular episode, one-to-one, VIP days, VIP experiences, and also deep one-to-one. And I still offer things like energy scan healer certification to here and there to select few people, and I offer those trainings still. So anyway, so there's more, but anyway, it gives you a little bit of idea about myself. And so the spiritual rockstar theme came up early on in my online career that started bubbling up. And it was just a sense of looking at mentors that I had and people I really respected or really loved and admired, and just watching, how they're bringing their purpose forth and how they're able to bring such an expanded impact. You know, a lot of times there are people that are advertising, you know, how to, you know, make 100,000 a year or how to make millions. And these particular leaders are, you know, typically well beyond that. The ones that I was paying attention to that really got my, I was like, oh, we want to create more of that. So I think about people like Eckhart Tolle. I think about people, although, you know, any of these people may have their issues, don't get me wrong. They may have issues. We all got issues to some level. So Neil Donald Walsh, you have people like that. And those were the people, and then my own mentors that come from that sort of place, like that I've had along with Chris and Janet Atwood, and you know, the lists go on, but to give you some examples. And so how, especially I look at Eckhart Tolle because he's so deeply present. He's not about hype at all, right? So he's just bringing presence, and he's impacting more lives than probably all the teachers, you know, a lot of us combined. So, and he's making more impact, deepening the awakening, and he's also just enjoying being alive. And if you want to look at things like structures like finances, you know, I don't know his finances, but I know he's making a lot of money. He's making a lot more money than from just something, from what I've heard anyway, he's making more money than any other spiritual teacher out there, or at least he's one of the very, very top ones. So the ideas of what we've gotten in the past need to come to rest. That, you know, his idea is primarily about getting super hyper, like fire motivated, the Western mind talks about, and we're just make it happen. That, you know, we look at someone like an Eckhart Tolle as one example. There's none of that we know of. You know, I don't know behind the scenes, but there's no like, we will have the power of now. We will have every, you know, and everybody's transmission is different. I bring some of that energy actually, but you know, we have the opportunity to be in that sort of energy for those of you that are called to that. I speak to those that I believe are here to be the big change makers, and also perhaps the guardians. You know, I call my guidance calls them the guardians of the consciousness. You're here to make that difference for the collective consciousness and the evolution of the consciousness during this time. And so we're here to support all of you. You know, some of the people that I work with currently are looking to reform the educational systems of the world. And some of the people, you know, that I love to help too are people that want to, you know, do those kind of big reforms, or whether it's healthcare, education, maybe it's the environment. I've had clients like that. And to help establish your foundations, your way of being, so that your purpose actually can be manifested and realized at a higher level. I look at someone like Mahatma Gandhi and the movement he brought forth and the way he brought it forth. It was deeply intuitively guided, So we say, oh, here's a tactic. It's called, what do they call it? Passive resistance or whatever. Okay, here's a technique. This is how you get what you want. You do this sort of thing. But I really feel, in studying Gandhi and having him as a guide of mine as well, it's about the spiritual attunement that he brought himself into. I mean, was a big part of it. And of course, his values and all that sort of stuff. But a lot of it was his connection. And then from that connection, he was super intuitive to be able to bring the leadership he needed to bring that big of a seemingly impossible change into fruition. So Spiritual Rockstar is tuning in to the deepest intuition possible and letting the impact to just happen. When you get the guidance, you take action on it. You take bold, fearless action, You're manifesting all the good. And while you're in that state of being connected, being one with source. So it's about all of that. And for me, I add in, the sense of real wealth, whatever that is for you. And everybody's different. Just what is it that your soul desires? What is your soul wanting to experience? Whether it's lots of travel and good health and perfect partnership, wonderful friends and lots of money, or millions and billions, or whatever it is. But what's real? What's really true for you? Maybe it's 75,000. Maybe it's a year on money, or maybe it's maybe it is six figures. Maybe it's this. Maybe it's that. Whatever it is, But to tune into that and allow your actualization and your realization and your enlightenment to happen. So if that makes sense. So you're rocking it out. You're being bold and fearless with source spirit that's called you into this great purpose. You're taking the steps. You're going down that road. You have a sense of a vision inside of you, even if it's vague, of huge impact, probably for millions of people. And so that you're stepping into that. So if that sounds like you're in the right place. You're a world-changing spiritual entrepreneur, and you want to step into your power. You get concerned about, is it safe to do it? Or am someone going to try to stop me out there in the world? Can I really trust this intuition thing? Or do I need to get back in my head and get strategic and go to the safety of the mind? And yet you're more insecure when you're in your mind. So, you realize you need to drop that. So we're here to support that. Just realizing that, you really are worthwhile, that people will want to play together with you. People are very powerful and change makers themselves that can help you. You will need help, and you sense that, and you're willing to say yes to that. And just get over it. I remember some of the people I've asked to help me that are, again, mentors, guides, people I really admired. One time I remember having a panic attack after asking them to support me. But I had to move through that, and you can do that too. So it's facing these fears. It's taking the actions anyway. It's creating the type of life you want. For years I've had deep self-care practices and work most weeks, probably 30 some hours a week, maybe, if you want to put a number on it. And other weeks, might be way less, or, might be on vacation, or might be more. So whatever it is, but just to say, like, I've had the experience of being able to create the life I want, to live life the way it feels well for me to live it, and still contribute mightily, and to have financial success, impact success, and everything. And so I'm here to share that it works. It works, and it can only just continue to expand the more you trust it and let this way of being come into you. So that's what it is. It's a way of being. It's really listening into source spirit. It's being bold and fearless. It's clearing out any of the riffraff energy inside of yourself that might keep you back. Sometimes the best way to do that is just to decide you're done with that energy and then just move in and take the actions needed. But sometimes we need support with those things, and that's what we're here for too. So I hope that helps explain it as best as I can for today. I didn't want to get a cheesy little definition put together. Maybe we'll do that later. But, I didn't want to do that. I just want to explain, more or less what it is to me. If you want to share with us what you believe a spiritual rock star is, be happy to hear from you. You can always contact us when you go to www.yoursacredpurpose.com, www.yoursacredpurpose.com. Also, when you go there, you have the opportunity that should still be there to apply to meet with me, for me to do one of my intuitive energy scans to see how perhaps I can support you if you feel like a good fit through your application to meet with me and explore working together potentially, whatever that might entail, including one-to-one mentoring and empowering you. And also there's a free meditate and make money meditation there to help you to meditate and make money, and 4 ways to meditate and make money PDF guide, to like 2-page guide. So, you check those things out, and boy, you are going to just love these there's a lot of dynamic, believe it or not, I've been pretty soft spoken today, but like there's a lot of dynamic energy with these interviews, and you're really going to love them. And in some case, mostly they're very wonderful exchanges of just them sharing incredible information and me kind of riffing off them sometimes. And then it's me doing some energy scans at times. And even some, be an episode every once in a while where I've done a session for people, and you can experience that session as a session as for yourself, because what I'm connecting with and clearing for others is also happening for other listeners, those of you that are listening at some level, right? So big props to our guests that have been willing to come on to get a session from me. And if you're interested in that as well, you can always, again, contact us to be a guest or to consider getting a session from me on this podcast show by going to yoursacredpurpose.com. There's a contact form there. You can feel free to share there. So with all that being said, again, this is a big opportunity. There is a divine sense of urgency as we're here into the new decade. It's just so perfect that this show is launching right into the new decade, because we have a 10-year cycle coming ahead, more or less around 10 years, where we need to be rocking it with source and spirit, and we can, shift things dramatically for the good. And if we don't bring it forth rapidly and quickly at God's speed, and in the right way, we will create unnecessary suffering and perhaps even cataclysmic scenarios that we don't want to be manifesting. But strong leaders that are connected with source spirit, like the idea, like I've heard other people talk about this in the past, creating, like, if I can be helped creating thousands and thousands of people who are their own versions of Gandhi, Eckhart Tolle, or I don't know, any enlightened being. If there's an enlightened entrepreneur making big shifts in the world that you want to mention to me, let me know. I'd love to learn about them, maybe interview them. But these sorts of people that want to change the world, change the education systems, change the healthcare systems, change whatever it is you want to change or see a shift in, now's the time to bring those changes. We have to do it from a center place of love and compassion for all. We have to embrace where everyone is in the unfoldment of this consciousness and the energies that are bubbling up right now. We must maintain that heart space and deepen in it, release all our judgments towards ourselves and others, love ourselves exactly as who we are. So when we love ourselves exactly as who we are, we show up in the divine light fully, and things are just working out perfectly, whether our minds think it is or not. Okay, so all right. So anyway, I appreciate you all. I appreciate you listening to the show. All my love and blessings. And I look forward to having you listen in to our ongoing podcast show. Go ahead, just take a look intuitively and let's start listening to the next episodes. And I look forward to serving you in the days, weeks, months, and years ahead. Big love to you. Goodbye for now. Wow, what a pleasure to have you join us today. Thank you so much for listening to Spiritual Rockstar podcast. Stay tuned for our next upcoming new episodes each Wednesday and Saturday. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to help us to serve you best. As a reminder, you can get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation at www.yoursacredpurpose.com to rock your sacred purpose. Goodbye for now, everybody.